As the sun begins to set on one of the most graceful eras in Real Madrid's history, the question hanging in the air is no longer if change is coming, but how it will unfold. For years, the heart of Madrid's midfield has been a place of vision, elegance, and tireless control. With every turn, every pass, every perfectly weighted ball, the central figure in white dictated the rhythm of matches like a composer with a symphony at his feet. But time, as always, is unrelenting. Even the greatest must pass the baton. Now, attention turns to a new name. A player known not for thunderous headlines, but for subtle brilliance. A footballer with balance in his movement, precision in his decisions, and clarity in his vision. Madrid, never a club to chase hype without foundation, are exploring a midfield mind who understands the game with the calmness of a chess master, but still has the hunger of someone who's barely begun writing his story. The task is enormous. It's not just about replacing a player, it's about inheriting a legacy. This role has never been just tactical, it's been emotional, spiritual even. The midfield at Real Madrid is the engine of dreams. It turns pressure into poetry, chaos into calm. To step into that space is to step into history. What makes this particular candidate compelling isn't flashy numbers or show-reel goals. It's the way he plays with respect for the game's finer details. He doesn't force the tempo, he guides it. He doesn't dominate with size, but with awareness. Every touch is purposeful. Every movement off the ball is calculated. In a team full of stars, he wouldn't need to be the loudest voice. He would be the one who made sure they all stayed in tune. There's something magnetic about him. Perhaps it's the way he glides through midfield like he's playing on a different clock. Slightly slower than everyone else, but always one thought ahead. Or maybe it's the quiet resilience he carries. The kind that's forged not through comfort, but through challenge. The kind that suggests he's ready for something bigger. Of course, Madrid will demand more than technical quality. They will demand character. Because in the white shirt, even brilliance is tested. The weight of the badge has broken some of the most gifted talents in the world. But those who rise to the challenge don't just play for Madrid, they become Madrid. The potential signing isn't just about filling a gap, it's about redefining an era. The club doesn't just want a midfielder, it wants the next architect. Someone who doesn't shrink under pressure, but thrives within it. Someone who understands that to play at the Bernabeu is not just to win matches, but to carry history forward with every pass. The club knows this decision isn't just about replacing technique. It's about finding someone who understands the balance between brilliance and discipline. The previous leader of this midfield wasn't the loudest voice or the strongest presence, but he was always there. The compass guiding every transition. The calm when the storm was at its worst. He turned midfield battles into ballets, fierce derbies into tactical masterclasses. Now Madrid seeks a player who won't try to mimic that legend, but rather inherit the responsibility of creating a new version of it. What makes this pursuit so fascinating isn't the player's resume, it's his trajectory. He has grown not in comfort, but in confrontation. He's faced criticism, been reshaped, and returned stronger. That matters. Because at Madrid, you aren't just judged by how well you play. You're judged by how well you recover, adapt, and rise again. Madrid knows they cannot afford a misstep here. The midfield has always been their sanctuary, the place where every great Madrid team begins. It is where loyalty, leadership, and legacy have always lived. A miscalculation in this role doesn't just affect tactics, it reverberates through the soul of the team. And yet, There is a quiet confidence about this potential signing, not because the player is a guaranteed superstar, but because he reflects Madrid's best traditions: intelligence over impulse, clarity over chaos, and elegance over excess. He plays the kind of football that doesn't scream, but stays with you. If this deal materializes, it will not be just another signing. It will be a signal that Madrid, while looking to the future, has not forgotten what made them who they are. They will not chase power at the cost of poise. They will not buy fame without function. They are searching for the kind of player who makes the extraordinary feel inevitable. If the move goes through, it won't be hailed with wild proclamations. It will begin with quiet curiosity. But make no mistake, this is the kind of transfer that could grow into something transformative. Because sometimes, the most important players are not the ones who make the most noise, but the ones who make everyone else better. And at Real Madrid, there's no greater legacy than that. In the quiet corridors of North London, a storm is brewing, not of chaos, but of ambition. Arsenal, long considered a club in transition, is on the verge of making a statement that could alter the course of their project. Whispers are growing louder about a potential move for one of Europe's most technically gifted forwards, an audacious attempt to bring the heartbeat of a continental powerhouse to the Premier League. It's a move that doesn't just signal intent, it challenges the status quo. Arsenal are no longer content to develop in the shadows of their rivals. They are knocking on the door of Europe's elite, and if this deal materializes, they won't be knocking. They'll be kicking that door open. The player in question is no ordinary talent. He has danced under the brightest lights of the European stage, scored goals that broke hearts and silenced stadiums, and earned the trust of the most demanding fan base in the world. He carries the confidence of a champion and the humility of a player who knows his best is yet to come. And now, he could be stepping into the Emirates. This isn't a typical signing. This isn't about plugging a hole or adding depth. This is about shifting Arsenal's ceiling. The forward in question brings flair, fluidity, and frightening composure in the final third. He plays with a grace that disguises his ruthlessness. In transition, he's electric. In tight spaces, he's composed. And in front of goal, he's calm under pressure. But what makes this move so intriguing is how it fits the identity the club has worked so hard to restore. Arsenal have rebuilt with discipline and vision. They've laid the foundations with young, hungry players and tactical clarity. But now, they need more. They need a player who can elevate the whole team, who understands what it means to win when it matters most, and who can carry the burden of expectations. That's what this forward offers. Not just talent, but experience. Not just potential, but proof. There will be questions. Can he adapt to the physicality of the Premier League? Can he thrive in a system where the tempo rarely drops and space comes at a premium? Can he adjust to being a focal point in a project where the pressure is not to grow, but to win? Those questions are valid, but the potential reward is enormous. This is a player who has been forged in the fire of European competition, who has already delivered on the biggest stages, and who is still far from his peak. In the right environment, under the right guidance, he could become the kind of player who defines an era, not just a season. At the heart of this pursuit is a forward unlike any currently at the club, a player who brings something intangible, moments that take your breath away. He doesn't just participate in games, he tilts them. Every touch carries intent, every run draws defenders, and every finish carries the calm of a man who's done it under far brighter lights than most ever will. Arsenal's transformation under their current leadership has been strategic and steady. They've returned to the top four, built a spine of technical strength and tactical discipline, and cultivated a culture that values work as much as wonder. But to take the next step, to lift trophies consistently, they need a player who isn't just aligned with their vision, but capable of dragging it into reality. This forward represents that evolution. He has pace, but doesn't rely on it. He has flair, but doesn't overplay. He's a threat on the counter, but equally devastating when faced with a parked bus. In a league as physically and mentally demanding as the Premier League, his game isn't about tricks, it's about timing, intelligence, and execution. He's played in front of the most unforgiving fans. He's scored when everything was on the line. And yet, he still carries the hunger of a player with something to prove. Arsenal fans are already dreaming. They've seen what happens when their team gets close. They've felt the heartbreak of narrow misses, the frustration of dominance undone by a single mistake, a missed chance, or a moment of brilliance from an opponent. They know exactly what a player like this could mean. He could be the difference. But this isn't just about ability, it's about identity. Arsenal have spent years trying to define who they are in the post-Invincibles era. For too long, they've been viewed as elegant, but soft, competitive, but incomplete. Now, they're trying to flip that script. They want to be feared again, not just respected. For Arsenal, this is about more than a transfer. It's about belief. Belief that they belong at the top, that they can attract not just promise, but proven quality, that the long road back to relevance is almost complete. And what's needed now is a spark to ignite something greater. If this deal goes through, it won't be a gamble. It will be a calculated, courageous leap toward greatness, and it just might be the move that transforms ambition into silverware.